This news update is brought to you by...
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
This is the Noon Barbados Today update for Tuesday, January 7th, 2014. I'm Kamar Jordan. Prime Minister Frendel Stewart is holding face-to-face talks today with key representatives of the business sector on the country's worrying economic situation. This as Finance Minister Chris Sinclair meets with members of the trade union movement to take forward their discussions on plans to lay off more than 3,000 public sector workers by the end of March. While promising that government is doing all in its power to ensure minimum dislocation within families, Mr. Sinclair says the final announcement on who will actually go home is the Prime Minister's to make.
We have also issued an edict to ensure that where departments have to release workers, that they do a clear analysis of all the persons involved to ensure that that situation that you described does not develop, where two breadwinners in the state household get sent home, or somebody who is clearly in a debilitated position. Be the person to suffer first in that particular regard. So those safeguards are being put in place, but the Prime Minister will make the specific announcement in relation to that.
In the meantime, Mr. Sinclair is reporting that the Four Seasons project remains on stream and that Cabinet will make a decision in short order.
Cabinet has made a tentative selection on the new preferred investors, but we have broadened the scope to invite. There were two shortlisted. The other one to do a counter proposal. Basically, Cabinet has asked for both to revise their proposal and come back. We expect that should be done this week. They should report to us next week. Cabinet will make a final decision, and then in that regard, we will engage in the process of a handover of that project back to the private sector.
And in more economic news, the Central Bank Governor, Dr. Delal World, will update the nation on the state of the economy next week. Dr. World has been holding meetings ahead of his report, including with representatives of the private sector, who he met yesterday. Staying with the economy, the General Secretary of the National Union of Public Workers says the private sector cannot absorb the thousands of employees who will be sent home. Dennis Clark says that though the year has just started, business people are crying out under the economic hardships. He says the current situation is far different from the early 1990s when public sector workers were laid off and those were absorbed in the private sector. In sports, West Indies batsman Marlon Samuels is recovering from surgery on his right wrist, which forced his return to the Caribbean late last month from the ongoing West Indies tour of New Zealand. The surgery was done last Friday to correct a bone growth on the wrist. West Indies head coach Otis Gibson says the loss of Samuels is a major setback to the regional side, seeking to rebound from a series of losses. There's regional and international news after this short break.
McInerney Quality and Consolidated Finance invite you to trade in your old car for a new one. So, bring your car and come to McInerney Quality in Wildy. That's right, all trade-ins are welcomed. Any make or model will trade towards your new car. Plus, you get 2 years free insurance when you purchase a Kia, Mazda or Ford. And with on-the-spot financing by Consolidated Finance, you can drive away with something new. So, bring your car and come to McInerney Quality in Wildy. All trade-ins are welcome.
The Business Minute, every Tuesday and Thursday on this platform. Informative, up-to-the-minute, up-to-date news you can trust every time.
In regional news, Trinidad and Tobago state-owned oil company has suspended several employees pending a probe into 11 oil spills in the Gulf of Paria. Petrotrin's corporate communications manager, Gillian Friday, confirms that the suspensions are connected to the first oil spill. Those sent home were attached to the company's port and marine operations at Pointe-a-Pierre. Internationally, 350 police officers have been fired in Turkey. The top judiciary body says it's also investigating alleged misconduct by officials overseeing the inquiry. More than 50 people, including the sons of 3 cabinet ministers, were detained in police raids conducted last month. It's the biggest shakeup since the start of a corruption inquiry that has targeted allies of the government. And that's our noon update. Join us again at 6 p.m. In the meantime, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, and better yet, like us on Facebook to get more news and sports. I'm Kmar Jordan. Have a fantastic afternoon, and we'll see you again at 6 p.m. Stay tuned in the meantime. The Signia Business Minute is up next.
This news update brought to you by
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
The Business Minute is brought to you by
To my people out there working hard to expand your horizons, chasing a flawless dream. Keep your eyes on the prize and we don't look back. It's forward thinking, on to the new stuff. It's time to lay bricks on the foundation of your future.
Get set with Signia to be sure the world will be yours. Take you to exceptional, incredible new heights. And get set with Signia.
Signia, quality solutions for your financial needs.
This is the Barbados Today Business Minute for Tuesday, January 7th, 2014. I'm Vic Fernandes. We start with news out of the tourism sector. It seems visitors are finding cheaper ways to enjoy holidays in Barbados, and it's biting into profits for some. Executive Vice President of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Sue Springer, says many families and groups are opting to split the cost of villa or condominium accommodation rather than pay nightly rates at hotels. They're also using more public transportation rather than hiring vehicles or taking taxis, and choosing smaller, more affordable restaurants when they want to eat out. It's no surprise, then, that there was a big drop in tourist spending during the first 9 months of last year. Springer says it led to as much as a 20% drop in retail revenue for the hotel sector. And there are concerns that high wage bills and taxes are making it difficult for hotel properties here to compete with those in other parts of the world. Managing Director of the Crane Hotel, Paul Doyle, says those are 2 of the biggest challenges.
And when we have to pay duty and the rest of the world that we compete with doesn't, it makes it very difficult.
With the Barbadian Sol Group acquiring SO Bahamas, dealers in that island are waiting to see what's next for them. They're expecting contracts to remain the same for the next 3 years, but there hasn't been any formal word from officials at the Kiffin Simpson-owned conglomerate yet. The SOL Group purchase of SO Bahamas is part of a wide-ranging deal that will see it snap up ExxonMobil operations in 6 other Caribbean territories. And now for today's financial tip. When you suddenly become unemployed, you may need to adjust your budget and stretch whatever available money and severance you get as much as you can. It may mean canceling the cable and not going out as much for dinner, but frugality will be a necessity. And that's been the Barbados Today Business Minute. I'm Vic Fernandes. Join us again on Thursday. Until then, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb for more business, news, and sports.